My name is Dale Neal, and I want to welcome you to this episode in the series which we've entitled You Can Start a Business. Our series consists of these topics: why go into business, spotting business opportunities, getting started, keeping going, first steps in marketing, managing money, organizing for growth, efficient operations and production, business ethics, and staying in business. This week, we'll be looking at the first steps in marketing. Today, as we look at marketing, we'll be dealing with marketing's role and function within the business. Your tutors this week are going to be Mr. Peter Ray, a business consultant from England, and Philip Fusco, who serves on the ICCC Strategy Committee and is a director of marketing for a major developer in Asia. If you've watched the first 4 programs in this series, you will have been shown how to appraise your ideas for starting a business. Today, we're going to look at how to market your goods and services.
Competition today is growing at enormous speed, with new products and services bombarding you and I, the customer, every day. So how can you be certain that anyone will want to buy your products? How can you be sure that your business idea will be successful? Marketing will help you. Marketing is concerned with presenting the whole of your business to the whole of the market. In other words, it is concerned with every part of your business and with anything which might have any effect upon your business. So, what are these marketing activities that a wise business person would undertake? They are market research, product development, pricing, distribution, advertising and promotions, sales management, and production and logistics. We'll go into more detail about each of these specifically later in the program. In particular, marketing is concerned with your customers, their needs or wants, and the amount they want to buy, which is called customer demand. The products you produce to meet that demand, their price, their value, and the extent to which they really satisfy your customers' needs. The means of exchange of your products with your customer. Will you sell them indirectly through a wholesaler or a retail outfit? Or will you sell them directly to your customer, in which case do you expect him to collect the product from you, or will you deliver it to him? Well, now we want to build on the work that you've been doing by showing you a full range of marketing activities which will help you to examine the whole of your business. You will recognize the first 2 because Lawrence has already covered these with you in some detail in the series so far. Market research is the process of gathering information on a particular aspect of the market and analyzing it to see how big it is. How is it changing? And what opportunities and potential it might offer. Product development involves thinking carefully about how you could improve the way your customers' needs are met. And remember, your customers' needs will keep changing. One development strategy that's commonly used by businesses with the development of their products is to recognize that in one market segment, they're selling their existing product to existing customers. And one way to move forward would be to sell a new product to those same customers, or alternatively, to sell the same product to new customers. A third strategy, which is the most difficult and the most dangerous, it's almost like starting a new business, is to sell a new product to new customers. So there are three directions that you can go. The next one was pricing. Pricing. What will you charge for your goods and services? Next week's program on managing money will help you further with this. Distribution. How will you distribute your goods and services throughout the marketplace so that everyone who wants to can buy? Advertising and promotions. This is a particularly important activity when you launch your business. It informs people that they can now buy your products. How will you do it? By word of mouth, amongst your local community, maybe by advertising in the newspaper, or by handing out or posting a leaflet or brochure to your prospective customers. Make sure you give them all the information they will need on your product and where it can be obtained. Marketing has often been confused as selling, and yet the two are actually separate. Selling is only one, but very important aspect of a series of marketing activities. One way of explaining this is to consider an athlete. He or she can only compete on the day of the race. This is selling. However, training and planning and preparation and trials go on before and after the race. This is marketing. Sales management involves anticipating sales levels so that you sell as much as you can without having stock left over which you can't sell, organizing how that product will be sold, and making sure your customers are pleased with their purchase so that they will buy from you again. If there is a problem with the sales of your product, too much or too little, then it can usually be corrected by adjusting one of these 7 marketing activities. Production and logistics. These marketing activities are concerned with all the physical aspects of producing your goods or services and delivering them to your customer on time and in perfect condition. We will deal with both these aspects in more detail in programs 7 and 8. So this week, I want you to think carefully about the distribution, the advertising and promotions, and the sales management activities. How are you going to organize these in your business? Make a note of these 3 activities now and jot down any ideas you have, then add to them as you think through this subject and as you follow the series through.
All right. Now that we've had insight into what marketing is, let's now look in more detail at some of those specific activities and processes mentioned earlier, which a wise business person would consider before going into the marketplace. These things are going to be explained to us by Phil Fusco, an Australian living in Singapore, who has experience in helping many Asian businesses developing their market plan.
To assist the business person manage the many things to consider, a simple framework known as a business marketing plan is often used. A plan systematically enables you to consider research issues and how to analyze them to draw a conclusion to act upon, strategically think what you are going to do, and planning how you are going to implement them. Considering the cost and consequences, establishing who is going to undertake what tasks and in what time frame, evaluating progress and success of your actions and investment to date. So, let's look at step 1 of the planning process first. You may remember covering most of this in more detail in episode 3 earlier in our series. This area looks at relevant background information on the market you are looking at entering, existing products availability, what the competition are doing, and possibly niches or segments in the market. Other considerations will be the current political and economic climate. And of course, your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Once you've completed this self-evaluation, you are ready to start making some basic assumptions about the market you are entering into and identifying what is commonly called the key success factors essential to the success of your venture. An important point to make here is that whatever conclusion you make based on your interpretation of the research is the making or breaking of your entire commercial venture. For it is here you could either totally misread the situation or, like a successful entrepreneur, sense an ideal moment in time and capitalize on it.
Having determined the market needs, I developed a business plan that would be able to serve those needs in a realistic way and bounced those concepts off various people in the industry, as well as an advisor to the government and suppliers in the industry. Nobody felt it would really work except for one person. There have been plenty of companies that have tried that marketing concept before, and all of them had gone broke, and the suppliers weren't going to support it, so I needed to pay cash for my product, and there was basically little belief in the marketplace that business concept would fly. I had a gut feeling though that this thing would work, and I think it's very important to rely on your instinct in the matter.
Now that you're ready to start planning your market entry, launch and operation, let's look at step 2, planning and strategy. First of all, clearly identify your target market. Who are they? Where do they live? Are they wealthy or poor, single or married with kids? Understand their needs and wants, because you are going to try and meet these perceptions with the right product or service fit. Then clearly set down your goals and objectives you want to reach in terms of sales volume, market share and profit. Conclude how you are going to reach these goals by looking at your product concept and definition, price and position, cheap, expensive, middle market, promotional program to create market awareness and interest, sales methods to generate a purchase, and distribution plan to deliver your promise. The processes by which to supply and deliver, and the roles staff will play and their importance. To explain what these different issues mean to consider, let's start first with your product. You must develop your public image in terms of name, corporate colours, positioning statement.
I'm actually designing a brochure as well now. I will have photographs in there with my team, because it's much nicer for people to relate to a face. So when they do arrive, they can say, oh yes, that's the person that helped me financially. That's the person that's going to meet me from the airport. That's my surveyor that checked my property out. So the whole business has a very personal touch. I'm making the business very intimate and getting and to learn my customers' needs.
Pricing. This small decision based on numbers will impact your profit, as well as how the market will react or view your product or service. Are you going for high volume, low margins? In other words, an inexpensive price point? Or are you content with low volume, high profit margin? In other words, an upmarket, premium quality product with high price point? Your third option is always the middle of the road market, whereby you are not too cheap or expensive, so most people can buy it. A point to consider here, though, in retailing, this middle market area can be dangerous, because you end up fighting for market share on price only, even though your costs remain the same or even go up. Place of purchase or method of distribution is important to successfully be accessible to your customers and deliver on time. When considering distribution, you have a few options. Sell to a wholesaler in bulk who will distribute to the various retailers for you. Set up your own distribution network and supply direct to the retailers. Or create a direct selling program whereby customers can order direct from the factory.
When we're looking at distribution channels, we decided that that the way to go with it is to focus and to go with the interior designers. The other way that we decided is also that we should go and distribute it to the ASEAN region, which is Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei and Thailand. In the case of Indonesia and Malaysia, we looked at all possibility and couldn't find people. So eventually what we did was that we had to go for somebody who's not been in the market or who's completely new. And then what we did was that we helped them to set up the whole operation. We trained them, we taught them, we set up a similar operation as we have in Singapore and transferred over to Indonesia and Malaysia. That was one way. The other way that we did was that we began to focus with the end users in Singapore, which is the residential market, which is the walk-ins of the retail, the people who comes into the shop, into the showroom. Then we also thought that the other way was to go directly to the hotel, and that going to the hotel and going directly to the commercial and to the hotel is to be able to work with them on refurbishing of the hotels, not necessarily a major jobs, but here and there. So we were offering our services in those areas. Yeah. So we have one area which is overseas, we have with the interior designers, and we have with the end users. We feel that the service is the most important for us, and the word of mouth is the most important for us, because the design community is very small in Singapore. So we found that service is the important thing.
When considering advertising and promoting your product or service, there is generally two broad directions you can take, or a combination of both. One is mass communication techniques like television, radio, press, magazines, billboards. There are normally quite expensive mediums to communicate and can also expose you to more people than you really need to know sometimes, depending on what you are selling. These mediums are generally only used for established products with broad mass appeal, or simply launching something new with a big bang. The second direction you can take is through more targeted direct marketing activities. This is done by way of direct mail-outs to potential customers, shop displays, telephone calling, or individual sales presentations.
Direct marketing is a very cost-effective means of advertising. Whatever amount you spend should be a percentage built into the cost of the product or service, or in the case of an existing business, a figure calculated on past sales and expected sales. Whichever the case, the advertising and marketing budget usually ranges between 2 and 15%, depending on the products, the market size, and the sales expectations. Make sure your sales, administrative, and corporate materials are ready to represent you and your product or service. This means items like business cards, stationery, product brochures, and purchase forms. Let's now look at the processes and our people, and the third step, the implementation program.
The simplest way to explain areas of consideration when mapping out your marketing program is to consider what has to be done, who will do it, when does it need to be finished, and how much will it cost. When considering what has to be done, a business person must consider the process to produce and deliver their product. For example, are you selling your time and advice as a consultant? Or are you farming, manufacturing, processing, or simply retailing through a shop? Either way, make sure you understand the time factors involved with the cost to supply. The last thing you want is sales to promise something and not be able to deliver on time or in an inferior product.
So we see that people are the beginning and the end of any successful operation. On the average, it's believed that 68% of lost business is because of poor customer service. A sincere salesman or a friendly staff member can make an enormous difference between someone choosing your product or service or the competition. To ensure your people are representing you correctly, make sure they're properly equipped with sales tools, good training in product knowledge, people skills, selling techniques, a sense of self-worth, and that they are properly motivated. Likewise, the office or operational staff must also have these qualities. Be concerned for the company and for their own well-being and future. In leading your people, it is important that you have clear and precise guidelines of expectations of individual roles. You must keep open, two-way communication to reduce misunderstanding and problems. This can be done by holding weekly group meetings to hear about problems and at the same time brainstorm solutions. Or you might organize a retreat outside the work environment where employees and management can understand each other better and take mutual ownership of the challenges and aspirations of the business.
This is the thing I keep saying, and I keep iterating within the staff, that they must understand that they are themselves is a company. And once they know that everything that they do benefits themselves first, then it becomes that that because we all are we want our benefit to come first. Sure. Once they know that, then they will take in, they will be able to learn, and once they do that, then they will be able to work for you together and know that they benefit first, and then they're able to benefit the company. Mm. But I also feel that everybody must be given equal opportunity to improve and equal opportunity to move up.
Right.
I think the most important is to have a goal and a vision. I think without vision, I think you perish. I mean, you there's nothing for you to look forward to. Mm-hmm. The most important for me is not to make money. I think the most important for me is I see it beyond that. I see it as with the staff especially. I see it as that we are giving an opportunity for them to have a career. That the other thing is that as they stay with us, they will improve, in their own personal development. This is the most important. In all businesses, yes, you have to make the money, but that's not the important issue. And that to know that the staff, that when they come in and as they work for the company, that there's a career for them, there's a pathway for them, and to open all opportunities for them as much as I can. And then to be able to pass down the vision, is to, for the company to grow, and what's in store for them for the next 2 years, what's in store for them in the next 1 year, and to be able to say to them, we're going to be starting something in another place. We're going to be doing this together. We're going to be doing that together. So I think it's something that they look forward to, something that they can identify with and know that they have a future. They're able to carry on with you. That in the years to come they may have a supervisory position or manager position or whatever it is.
And finally, step 4. Which is controls and monitoring.
Earlier in step 1, when looking at research and analysis, we mentioned one of the most critical decisions in marketing was your interpretation and conclusions to your research. Because naturally it sets the rationale and justification for all your plans and actions to come. The other key issue comes at the end of the setup period, at the launch of the company or product and its ongoing operation, or more simply, the operational outworking of your planning. Sufficient control mechanisms need to be established to ensure continuity and quality, and maintained as originally intended. Monitoring means a post-launch analysis and ongoing objective appraisal of general performance of your product and your people. It is important to be flexible enough to adjust on any move to any issue that may be affecting sales.
So you can see we are now back where we started, maintaining constant research and evaluation of an ever-changing market, and what it means to our business for the relevance and future performance of our products and services. You can see marketing is not just selling, but a total business philosophy and approach to enterprise. If you embrace it properly, it will save you time, energy, and money in the long run. So goodbye for now, and we'll see you next week.